but I want to talk more about this Bucks Celtics stuff. So yeah, Coach Mike had terrible rotations.
Yep.
I was watching that game 7. We were within 2 that entire first half. And every time we were like up 2, Coach Mike would pull Drew out. And I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
wait until we have a bit of a bigger lead before you
Yep.
start switching out our bench. Like,
Yep.
this is a one possession game and you're pulling our starters out." And
Yeah.
then in the third quarter, I don't want to be that guy that talks about the refs, but the refs were so bad in the second half that the Bucks just
All
gave
series.
up. Yeah,
All series they were bad.
in game 7 especially though, like they were calling offensive fouls on every single Bucks possession. And so
Yep.
to me it just seemed that the Bucks gave up, because it's like, what is the point of even scoring if you're going to null and void the point anyway? And so
Yeah.
we were within like 2 to 5 points the entire like first 3 quarters. And then like towards the end of the third quarter, it was just like, all right, these refs are fucking us. So we're just like, the game's done. And so
Yeah.
that's when the Celtics went on this crazy like 3-point run where like they were scoring like 9 3-pointers like back to back. And my mom even came up to me because I go for the Bucks, and she was like, "Wow, y'all really got blown out." And I was like, "But did you watch the game? We got blown out
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter because like
Yeah.
we just didn't give a fuck anymore.
Literally.
All the way through the first 3 quarters, we were keeping it competitive. In the fourth quarter, it was like, okay, we're not gonna win this game because the refs keep calling these bullshit calls." Like I sent something in the chat. I don't know if you saw it. I saw like GS and G Ray were liking it, where I put something like I put like Drew shoots a 3-pointer, offensive foul. Giannis goes through the paint, offensive foul. Pat Connaughton looks at a ref wrong, offensive foul. And it's like just
Yep.
all of our points are going out the window to the point where
Yep.
we were just like, okay, this isn't a game. So
No,
yeah,
it just went terrible at the end, man. Especially in that game 7. It
yeah,
was just
man.
bad.
So I saw that there was a bunch of people saying, fire Coach Bud and like all
Yep.
that. Like I put that poll in the chat as like a joke, like, should we fire Coach Bud? I think a lot of people do want to fire him, but I don't think he's going to get fired.
I
And let
agree.
me explain why. I think the reason he won't get fired is because obviously Giannis is not going to leave Milwaukee. Giannis
Hmm.
is like dead set in Milwaukee, and he is fundamental to Milwaukee the same way that Tim Duncan was to the Spurs. And the reason I compare him to Tim Duncan again for the millionth time, I know some people are sick of it, but I feel like Coach Mike and Giannis have a similar relationship to Tim Duncan and Pop.
Yeah.
And there's been so many articles that have been written about that, the way like Coach Mike loves Giannis, Giannis loves Coach Mike. And I don't think that they're going to get rid of Coach Mike simply because of that relationship. Like if you have to get rid of like Coach Mike, then it's only a matter of time before like Giannis is like, "Well, I like that coach, so I'm
Yeah.
gone too," or whatever. Or like you can't get rid of Coach Mike without it affecting Giannis, and you don't want to affect your star player in any way. And that's sort of
Yep.
how I see it. So I think that Coach Mike is going to stay in Milwaukee, whether he should or not, just because he has sort of that relationship with Giannis and everything like that. So
I agree because the way Giannis talks about him, the way like he just appreciates him, it's you can see how much he enjoys having him around. The only thing is, I wish he wasn't so stubborn when it came to playoffs. It's like,
yeah, man,
bro, leave your starters in. Your starters are
exactly.
gonna win your game. Those are your guys. And stop putting Giannis at defensive rotations or like as
Yeah,
a what's this called, as a roamer, because a lot of times they'll use Giannis as a roamer to the point where it's like, all right, Giannis is trying to leak off this guy to block whoever comes into the paint, and it's just like, put Giannis on the best player, big man
yeah,
wise, put Holiday on the best player, and just leave it at that. Whenever the Celtics best player, say Jason Tatum, you throw Giannis on Jason Tatum. When Jason Tatum goes to the bench, Giannis goes to the bench. I
Yeah,
hate
man.
how
Exactly.
weird or like how he tries to be so fundamental in the playoffs, and it's just like
Well, the
playing
reason,
like that, you're not gonna
yeah,
get anywhere.
the reason he's so fundamental is because he coached under Pop, and Pop is obviously really fundamental. But it's like
Yep,
it's a different game. There's different players, we
yep.
have the term point forward because of people like Giannis and everything. Um, and exactly like you said, I wish we would have played Portis more because Bobby Portis is like an amazing defensive player.
Won you game 5, literally
Yeah,
won the game.
and like to go to game 5 again, like Drew Holiday, his best end of the floor is the defensive end, and
Yep.
I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with that. He's a defensive monster, and again, we were in 2 points, one possession game, and Mike is like, okay, we're gonna pull Drew out. When Drew is over here getting you steals and everything like that, it's like,
Understand.
come on, dude. And Drew Holiday, I feel like we really could have won Game 6 if Drew Holiday came out and
Oh,
played a little bit more.
most
Because
definitely.
I
And
was,
game 4.
yeah, I was talking about this a little bit on Twitter, but and I talked about it a little bit on the last episode of the podcast. Drew Holiday had one foul in Game 6. It's like, dude, you are known for being the defensive player. You have one foul in the fourth quarter. You have 5 other ones to lose. Go and fucking go in for those steals like we know you can get. We literally won Game 5. We won Game 5 because you were getting steals and getting blocks in the last 2 to 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Do that same shit again, and you're over
Yeah.
here I was watching him guard Tatum or somebody, and like Tatum would go up for a 3 and Drew would just like throw his hand up like as a contest. It's like, dude, where is the energy? You're in fucking Milwaukee. You're at a home game. Bring the same intensity you did before, and like you didn't, and that's why we lost the game. Like, I don't want to seem like, oh, Drew's the reason we lost Game 6, but it's like he had one foul. He could have played much more aggressively because it's a different story with Giannis, where Giannis is being called on everything, so he has 4 fouls and 5 fouls, and he can't be as aggressive. But Drew Holiday, you have one fucking foul, and it's the fourth quarter. Like, you can go in and you can go for risky steals. Like, you can, like, obviously if you go in for a steal and like you hit their arm, they're gonna call a foul. But that's the thing, is like you have 5 fouls to lose. You can afford to do that. So
Yep.
yeah.